Hi everyone, and welcome to Eventful Conversations. My name is Jessica de Quesada, and this is my event partner and best friend, Monica Pardo.
Holy shit,
And we decided to finally launch our podcast to be able to give back to the events industry the love and connection and knowledge that we experienced ourselves. It's just going to force us to connect with so many individuals in the events industry. And
we're going to talk about the good, the bad, the beautiful, the ugly. And it's just going to be fun.
Oh, it's like 10 o'clock in the
morning.
We're ready.
Hello and welcome to Eventful Conversation. This is episode 3. And to tell you the truth, this was Jessica's first vision. We called you the OGs of the industry. And
they probably don't know what that means.
Right, well, we're doing this in English. So how would you translate OGs?
Los originales, the original.
Oh, that's a call, that's a client, but it's okay because Mena's still working. It's okay, you could take it. So let's hear who it is.
The original professionals in the wedding and event industry. So I think that it was important to start this new chapter for us by honoring and by recognizing some of the individuals who taught us how to do what we do.
Yeah, getting into the industry, everything was about Leyani, like especially with Leon. And it's such a pleasure, it's such an honor to be here with you. I have worked so many times with you, Jorge, and with you, Edda, as well. But this is just really cool, very nostalgic. And we want this to be, you know, this is like knowledge. We don't even have that much time because there's probably so many stories and beautiful things that we can just learn from you. And I would like for you to introduce yourselves and just say a little bit about yourselves.
How many years you've been in business?
Well, I started as a hobby, believe it or not, and the same clients, they put me in this market. They start asking me to do things for them. And that's how I started my business. You know, since I grew up so much, I had to move out of my house because I had no life.
No way.
And that's when we grew up, and I had that special one-to-one relations with brides and with anyone that wants an event. I can understand what they want, their taste, what they're looking for.
Yeah, you
and
get to meet them.
And I was like part of their life and part of their story.
Right.
And I can put it all together to make it happen.
That's so beautiful.
And that's what it is. It was so different.
How old were you when you started?
I was about in the 30s.
And how old are you now? Because you look fantastic, and I think that you should say it very proudly.
Yes, I'm 73 right now.
And just speaking a little bit with her before we started, I think you guys are like goals. You know, I feel like you have a great balance in your life of like really taking advantage of like traveling and your grandkids and your family and still working and still having your business.
Yeah, I'm still working.
That's
amazing.
incredible.
You know,
Not as much, but
I think the base here is the passion that I think we all have.
Amen.
If you are lucky that you can do your passion as your work, you're done.
You're right.
You
Like
can
say.
still
right.
do this at your
Yeah.
age.
You're not
Exactly.
working, right? You're not. It's
Because you don't
not-
consider
never
it
had
work.
to work.
58.
Right.
Amazing.
No, anyway.
Amazing. No,
I've been in
right.
business
So then
43
I
years.
But you know
us.
what? Him and I think that too, we like to sit with the client and we can hear them, what they want and what they're expecting, and create and put it all together. And that's what our passion is.
Yes.
And I enjoy it to give them suggestions and to tell them what is the best way to do it, or not to change their mind, but trying to help them
Right.
to make this possible, whatever they have in their mind.
Right.
And they have a unique situation
Right.
too.
Yeah.
We all grew out of our houses. Our rivals were converted. We all did that.
So did we finish introducing
No,
them?
We'll
are we-
continue.
oh,
Yeah.
okay.
No,
It's okay.
it's-
Because we get so excited.
I
There's
know,
so much
so
to
it's-
talk
No, it sounds-
about.
I
But
wanna
let's talk
ask
about
what
you.
to talk
Let's
about.
tell whoever's watching who you are.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
that
So
we
you
have-
can introduce yourself.
introduce yourself
Jorge
first.
Mena.
Jorge
He's
Mena.
Jorge Mena.
And,
Mena Catering.
I love what I do.
Yes.
And my wife and I started very young after we got married. We didn't know anything
Catering.
about cooking.
Full catering.
No.
No.
We got married. I was working at a airline.
Okay.
And my boss was her husband.
Okay.
And yes.
Very convenient.
Yes. So, but we started inviting our friends over for dinner. We did it great. We went over the extra you put flour. So this knowledge is innate. You don't really, I don't want to discourage any by university.
No,
going
I
to
agree.
hospitality,
Yeah,
but
you have it or
you
you
have to
don't.
have it in you. Either my wife
You're
never
born
cooked,
with it or you're not.
she
Yeah.
didn't never cook a croqueta in her life.
Oh my gosh.
But eventually she did all these amazing béarnaise sauces and this and that.
There's hope for
She was
me.
amazing. I told her, let's do this 1 year and then that's it. It's been 42
Wow.
that we since we incorporated. I learned yesterday that a lady said, "Oh, she did my wedding 1980." So
Wow.
we were a little bit
Yeah.
before that, before we incorporated. And what's amazing and beautiful is that we're doing the weddings of the children
100.
of the
Oh my
original
goodness.
bride. To me,
That's
that is,
beautiful.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
feel the tears
That's a
right now.
special
It is.
feeling when
So
you
it's-
get that.
yes,
I've
yes.
actually had the pleasure of doing that already too.
Yeah,
Like
I
doing the
did.
quinces for
Isn't
somebody.
that great?
Like
Yeah.
doing the wedding for somebody I did their quinces for.
That's
Bueno, I
Right.
just
Yeah.
Lynette Leon
That's
right
right.
now. She's
Exactly.
just I did her quince and she's getting married next
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
It's
That's great.
incredible, right?
Well, I did Lourdes' wedding.
Oh my God! Oh, I can't wait! I can't wait.
It's amazing.
And Edda, tell us how you started.
So
he
this
said,
is
this is
Edda
our passion.
Cakes by Edda.
Edda's-
So-
This, like I said, you're like Cher, Madonna. There, everybody knows.
No,
who
I know,
Edda
but
is.
just in case, you know.
I started in with out of my house, of course, but it was my passion to bake
Always.
and decorate cakes.
Okay.
And I would give cakes away to everybody before I started the business.
Like trying samples, like it
and,
was.
and I started teaching
Okay.
because I was telling Jorge, trying to remember how it started. I was taking classes, cake decorating classes, and I was pregnant with my daughter Susie. I couldn't go to the last class because I gave birth.
You gave birth.
But I met this guy from Wilton Enterprises, and he saw the way I was doing stuff,
Wow.
and he said, "Oh, you're very good. Would you like to teach?" You know, yeah. I said, "Where'd that
That's
come
so
from?"
interesting.
To make a long story short, I don't believe in coincidences. I
No.
believe in God coincidences.
Amen.
I put God into the equation always.
Yeah.
I remember when my husband said, I need your help. I need for you to get a part-time job at least if you want to keep the children in private
Private
school.
school.
So I started crying because the
Work,
first thing I
yeah.
do is cry. But then I said, no, I'm going to look for something that I like. So in the meantime, I opened the newspaper to see what Ann Landers would say to me.
Talk to me, Ed.
Just below Ann Landers, it says, cake decorators for teaching.
I'm sorry, we don't know what that means. Do you know what that means?
And
Ann?
Landers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ann Landers is the most widely syndicated newspaper columnist in the world. Nearly 800 newspapers print her daily common sense counsel to the distraught, bringing her words of advice to a readership approaching 6 million.
Ann Landers, like, dear Abby,
Dear
Oh,
Abby,
no,
that, you know,
they were sisters.
No
So-
idea.
they would give
Like, so it's like a
counseling. They
column
would give
in the-
It was
Yeah.
a column that was
Yeah.
canceling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
So
Helen.
underneath what she wrote,
Uh-huh.
it was a classified that said, not in the classified section, we need cake decorators for teaching.
Oh my God.
So this guy that I met before, his name was Eric, but I forgot his last name. So I called immediately, and he answered the phone and I said, by any chance, are you from Wilton Enterprises? And he said, yes. That is not a coincidence.
That's
No.
crazy.
It is not.
It's
No,
there.
it's
So
meant
he,
to be.
he called me. They had a job for me
Right.
right there.
Of course.
Incredible.
That's how I started.
That's how you
That's
started.
So I taught for 4 years.
Wow.
And by that, people were asking me for cakes.
Of course.
You did my wedding cake, and my daughter wedding cake, this and that. So I started to get a clientele.
Right.
So I had to leave teaching because the clientele became too big for me.
And-
Word of mouth.
And when did you open
Yeah.
up your first store and how many stores?
Well, not my neighbors. Somebody said that I was doing cakes at home.
Somebody,
they gave me a-
yeah, that you had to get by regulation
Yeah.
and get,
Which was a
you
great
know,
thing.
an actual
Of
kitchen.
course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Things happen for a reason.
Yeah.
Of
Thank you.
course.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you
Whoever
for that
was.
phone call.
I'm gonna say that I personally cannot take credit for this amazing thing that's happened to us. My wife, this is like the Oscar,
Uh-huh.
and then very basic is the employee that we have. personally.
100%.
They
Yes, your
have been
team.
with us 28 years, 30 years. They see the clients that we
The
have throughout the
evolution,
years.
yeah.
They are like very respectful, but they know them. They know their favorite drink. They know what to do.
Yes.
To me, that's so amazing that we had
Yes.
that backbone. Back when I was at this airline company, my coworkers are my waiters and my bartenders when we started,
That's
and they
true.
were great.
That's so
That's
cool.
It was amazing. We've
That's
been
so
given
cool.
that support throughout life, which is like
What a beautiful thing.
I thank the universe.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's the same thing. It's all
Yes.
God. It's the same thing. So
Yeah.
I think
And
it's
I
great.
feel like our vendors, I could see us growing old together too, and
Oh,
having
yes.
this beautiful relationship
Absolutely,
that
because
you
Yes.
guys
of
have.
course the people that you worked with are not necessarily the people in the industry. We were just talking about it. Like you guys are
You
talking
each
about
needed each
people.
other, you-
Yeah, but they're talking about vendors that we don't even know who
No,
they
because
are.
they hadn't.
'Cause
Right.
Yeah,
they
they've
haven't
already
been around
retired,
and
right?
they're not right. They're retired.
Yeah.
So the vendors that we work with a lot right now, we could see them growing old with us,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you know, but
Yeah,
it's a
'cause it's
different.
family.
That is so
It's-
rewarding.
It's a
It's a
different
family.
type of-
Rewarding.
Yes, it is
Yeah.
very rewarding.
We have schools where we have our staff working schools.
yeah.
So that gives them a
It's
salary.
huge.
And the
Yes.
rest, you complement with
Yeah, with the
parties and events
the
and all that.
What would you say is the greatest or one of the things that you've seen evolve in the wedding industry from when you started to what it is now?
Okay, I think I blame social media.
Mm.
All the brides know more than we do.
Then you do, right? Because
So
they do research
we have
and
to
research and research.
Pinterest is our downfall
Yeah,
because they
yeah.
bring a very impractical thing to our.
So you don't think it helps you at
no,
all?
no, it helps because
There's a
it
vision
pushes
to
you,
it, right?
Right.
pushes you
Right,
to be
right.
better.
Right.
Competition now it's great, amazing here. It's important to stay relevant.
Right.
I,
Of course.
I could be 85 years old,
Yeah, but you
but
still
you
keep
got to stay there,
learning.
right
Yeah,
there.
yeah, uh-huh.
Look at it. We
Yeah, yeah.
look at social
Yeah,
media.
of course.
So we're not the only one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the brides know a lot more. They know
Yeah, they
more about
feel
foodies.
that they know
They're
more than
foodies.
the professional.
But
But
I
they
can't-
So it's a
do.
challenge.
They know. They have the knowledge.
They
so
do.
they go out
They
to
do.
eat.
They do have the knowledge.
And they
So-
shop around and they know
Yes,
the prices
absolutely.
and they know, yeah.
So
it's
we have to
not-
listen and
So
pay
it's not
attention.
the same. So you
Right.
think that that's one of the things that has
That is
evolved.
one of the main
of course,
things that
the,
have
the
happened.
technology.
But I
Yes.
can't even
Technology.
fathom because now our renderings are literally 3D.
yes.
Like
Oh.
our renderings
Yeah.
are AI, how exactly
Yeah.
it's
Yes.
going to look like. Lenny, how would you propose something to a bride?
One of the things that was the most important things is when we start, the brides were much younger than what the brides these days. These days, the brides they have a career.
Oh, man, that's
they're in
such a
the
good point.
30s.
Yeah.
They are more women. They're more mature.
For
they know
sure.
exactly what they want, what they're looking for. Those years, they were like, you're out of
They
the
were
high
babies.
school.
Yeah.
They were babies.
You just
Our
wanted to
mom
get
and
out of
dad
your
are the
house,
ones
right?
that kind
Making
of
the
control
choices.
you and they tell you what to do and what not to do.
Wow.
So when a
You
bride
know?
came to you back then in the beginning, one, they came with their parents.
That's
so
right.
The parents were primarily the ones making the decisions.
And
That's
paying.
true.
Yeah.
And
That's
paying.
And paying, they
Right.
probably
Exactly.
pay
Right.
today
Now
too.
today's bride
Because
is
that's a little
bride that-
vergüenza
They
if you
pay.
already have a career,
Yes.
and you make a lot of money to have your parents pay for it.
Right.
unless
So
it's
the
like-
bride
Yeah.
of today,
Yeah.
for the most part, the couple pays for.
So crazy.
So it's
Exactly.
completely different.
Amazing.
It's completely.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So it's technology, is that everything has changed with technology.
And they have more
Everything.
knowledge.
Right.
The brides.
Oh, right. The bride
and the
has more
grooms too.
knowledge.
But I think
Yeah, no, of
Edda,
course.
right? I'm sure you can draw,
Oh,
right?
it's
And
amazing.
that,
Yeah, I do.
right? So that
They love
probably
when I-
didn't
when I
change.
draw, they-
yeah,
they love it.
I think it's better
Yes.
That's
than
what
seeing
sells
a
it.
rendering.
Of
Yeah,
course.
is
Totally.
from
That's
that.
like when you go to get a dress designed
It's
on
the same
Miracle
thing.
Mile and they sketch something
Yeah.
for you in front of your face. You're like,
So
that's
that
magic.
doesn't really evolve.
There's nothing.
right?
AI will never be able to replace that.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of being able to have
Human
both
being.
worlds.
Right.
Like
Yes.
that knowledge of individuals and professionals like them
Yeah.
and being able to work with the new technology. So when you have people that have both, it's
Incredible.
crazy what you could create. Those are the
Incredible.
true professionals.
But could you draw from the beginning, or you learn to?
Well, one of the things that I think pushed my business up was that I would draw. I would do cake for kids too,
yeah,
They bring Mickey Mouse or
Uh-huh.
Donald Duck, whoever,
Uh-huh.
and I would do it. I would cut it up and make the shape.
She's a great artist.
Yeah,
Her
she
mom
really is.
was an artist.
really.
Of
I was a
course.
portrait painter.
Portrait
Oh my
painter.
goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's innate.
And is there a difference today in like the fake cakes and then the real cake situation,
Well,
or
people ask our cake is very moist, and it's very heavy because it has a lot of butter.
Right.
It's delicious.
So
It's the best.
they want things that you cannot do it with our type of cake.
Right.
If it's a more pancakey, more dry, it can hold better.
But what I try to tell people is, because they're always like, is the cake fake? And I was like, okay, time out. The cake inside the panadella is fake, but it's a foam. But it's only because it's easier to work on and manipulate the
And
sugar.
if you want that tall cake, we need to do it also part real, part fake.
Right.
Like we did Gucci Mane,
Okay.
that rapper.
Gucci Mane? Oh my God, it's
His wedding,
amazing.
they came.
Q and
The
Gucci Mane.
bride was very pompous.
This sword is heavy, but I cannot complain because this is what I asked for. A big ass diamond sword to cut this big ass cake.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
she wanted all Swarovski crystals, and she wanted the cake, and she told me from the first day, I wanted to be 10 feet high.
Wow.
So we had to make part of it real, from the middle down,
Yeah, because
and
it's too heavy.
the rest it was fake.
Yeah.
Because
Of course.
it had to be taken in 3 parts.
Right.
It was
But the
huge.
work is still your
Yes,
work,
you have to
regardless
work
if
the
it's
same
fake
way.
or not. It's just foam versus
Exactly.
pound cake. That's great.
I think it's important for at least you and I that we have to thank our children that they been able to
Oh,
put
yeah.
up
get
with
into
it.
this.
For
My son
somebody,
is not that
yes.
he's a creative thing, but he's numbers.
That's
So he
amazing.
has kept us making, what
That's
we
so
should be
special.
making,
That
not
is.
going crazy.
Yeah.
We're the creator, esto y lo
Yeah.
otro, and we spend the money.
Right.
No. Come on,
But
settle down.
it's your legacy
It
that
brings-
they continue.
Exactly.
And
Well,
something
yeah, I had
to-
told
Like
you.
her.
Carlos is,
Yeah.
has
He's
taken
incredible.
it many steps
Amazing.
beyond.
I mean,
His
yeah.
wholesale.
You go into Publix and you find like the
know.
bunk cakes and the
Everything is there.
Yeah.
the little
Yeah.
cupcakes
And Winn
and
Dixie.
and Winn
Yeah.
Dixie and
And,
Whole Foods
so-
and all
Whole
of that.
Foods, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
which is crazy.
It
Yeah.
It just shows you, like, it gives you hope.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh
like,
my
as
God.
as a professional in the
From
industry,
starting
And
in your
Susie's in the
kitchen,
stores,
yeah.
and Anna, my daughter-in-law, is in the stores.
of
Wow.
course, it's
So
it's a
they-
gift.
You know what's important to the newly arrivals? They want instant
Gratification.
And they don't realize that we
The work
put in
that was
so
put in.
much work. That's you have to
Of
have
course.
that tenacity
Yeah.
and stay on.
Of
Yeah.
course, absolutely.
Little by little. You're not gonna make $1 million like that.
No.
Never.
And it's about building the experience. It's,
Yeah.
and I said this in one of the podcasts before. My experience is something that I find, so valuable because nobody could take that away from me.
No.
The things, the events that I've seen, the experiences, the problems that I've been able to solve.
Yeah.
Imagine. That's
That's
what
so
they
key
can.
what you're saying.
Of course.
Because this is about beauty, delicious. But you know what? The unforeseen, the trouble that lurks
Yes.
ahead. You have to be the best troubleshooter that you can be.
Absolutely.
And that
And the
we were great at that
connections and
too.
the
So,
relationships
gotta solve the
that
problem.
we build
Exactly.
that help us
Yeah.
That help
troubleshoot.
one
With
to
the
the
linen.
other one.
Yeah.
A cake they forgot. Get me a fake
Yeah.
cake from the
A fake
store.
cake for
Absolutely.
From
everything.
the
At least,
store. From
yeah.
the store, yeah.
Done that many
We
times.
we done that.
Resolve,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
It's
No,
not our
I
fault, but the
agree.
bride forgot on this and that.
But
Yeah.
I feel like also today, like even like our biggest events, our biggest galas aren't more than 800,000. I remember going to corporate address of Leon and seeing you guys in action, and that was
Yeah.
the most impressive thing that I've seen. What was it?
Oh no, we had 250 tables
250
To serve.
tables to serve.
of 10.
plated.
That's
Yes,
2,500
I mean,
people.
Like-
three-course dinner
Yeah.
with the bread in there and sometimes wine and water and everything. And a schedule
So
and a
impressive.
schedule that we have to follow because everything was with the time. And sometimes the places, they don't have the best conditions for you to
No,
work
No,
either.
no, you-
And
You
your
have
back
to
of house
you have to
improvise.
apply the menu for that. and
Yeah.
The menu and the,
The
people-
employees want to go home.
Yeah.
They don't want to stay there. So they take the food. They
yeah,
go home.
and they leave.
Yeah.
So if you were to do it again, if you had to do it again today, and they said, Leyani, you're starting from scratch now in 2024, what would you change? What would you do different in your business today?
Wow, that's a catchy question. If I have to start all over again,
I will hire my son.
that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a
That's
good
good.
one. I
Or
wouldn't do
you did it
anything
just so-
different.
yeah.
You would do it all over?
I would
the
do it
same
all
way
over
you
Oh,
the
did it?
yes.
same
You
thing
have
I
to.
did because I am very proud of what I did and what I accomplished for so many years.
That's so
That's
beautiful.
awesome.
And the relations that, you know, I
you
have,
built.
I still have, and everything. I
Yeah.
really do. And I enjoy every single second
Yeah.
That's awesome.
that it work that I did.
Good.
Yeah.
That's a great
Honestly.
answer.
Yeah.
And you, George, what would
No,
you do different?
I would do it the same way, but I realize when we arrived here, the network,
Yeah.
the city of Miami helped us.
Yeah.
Okay, everything. Now, your networking is a little bit different. So you got social media, you have all the competition you want, but it's welcome.
There's a lot.
There's a lot of work here for
Yeah,
everybody.
right.
Let's share it, and we
It's
don't
true.
care. We love each other.
true.
That's important.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
Very good friends.
unconditional,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes.
So we help each other.
That's
we
every
have
time.
helped each other.
That's
Yeah,
beautiful.
we have to help each other.
The pandemia.
Without expecting anything in
You-
return. We
Yeah.
just help each other.
You have to reinvent yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
When that happened,
What did you do in the
we
pandemic?
said they used to call it. Do you do daily
Drive-bys?
delivery cantina? No, we don't do that. Llegó la pandemia,
Oh, yeah.
and that's here.
Yeah.
We do this all the time.
Food by the
So
pound.
we did the Baptist Hospital Gala with Zoom. We created these beautiful boxes
No.
with an amazing menu, with a drink and everything.
And you
we
delivered
delivered as far as Key Largo.
Oh, wow.
That's so
And
cool.
it was great. It was amazing. Very
That's so
Good
successful.
for you. My next question is, what do you feel sets you apart from, or what made you Leyani? And I'm going to take the liberty to say this. I know that when you began, there weren't as many wedding planners because
Was
imagine.
no
any,
wedding
because
planners.
any.
I was telling
I did your wedding
If any.
planner for
Exactly,
you.
Right. So, and even when I began, there were very, very few. So imagine when you began, there was probably, it was minimal.
Minimum.
But even though there were minimal event planners compared to now that everybody's an event planner, what made you different?
One of the things that I feel that made me different is that I listen to my clients. That was the clue. I listen their needs, what they want, what they're expecting, and I adapt to each one of them. That's what made me, that
Customized.
customized.
You-
And I
there was
think-
one style. You could
You-
adjust or whatever the
Whatever
client
the
wanted.
client
you
And
could
wants.
that's
be.
so important. And that's something that is so, honestly, it's priceless because right now, everybody wants to do package A, package B, and package C.
It doesn't
and it
work.
doesn't work.
No.
It doesn't work.
Yeah, it's-
and that's what a lot of people don't understand.
It limits you.
It limits you so much because everybody wants to be special and everybody wants to feel special.
Right.
So bride A is different than
Than
bride
bride
B.
B.
Always.
So tú no le vas, you're not going to make the same cake. Sorry, I speak Spanish
Yeah, it's
sometimes.
okay.
It's okay.
It's probably very rare that you do the same exact thing
Yeah,
for
if you
two.
ever did
No.
anything, you've
No,
never
you
done
don't.
We
that.
all we thrive for excellence.
Yeah.
And that makes you think besides your boundaries.
Yeah.
Of
Right.
course.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a little
And not
things.
only that,
All of
it's like
us.
when
Yeah.
the event is over, whatever event it is, you feel proud of yourself.
Right.
For sure.
Because you did it with your heart.
Yes,
and you did it with
exactly.
everything that you have, you put it in there.
Yes.
Like every ounce of yourself, you did it to come out perfect.
Yes.
More than perfect.
It makes
You
me
know,
so happy to like hear her
I
say
know,
those
it's-
things
Yeah.
because honestly, like if you go back to the first episode of
It's exactly
of the
our-
podcast,
Our answer.
I sound like you.
Yeah.
And it's only because when I was 19, 20 years old, I would go to Leyani's office and just sit there and talk to her because it was the
Yeah,
only
man,
thing
it
that I had to really
Compare to
learn
guidance.
from at the end of the day. That's how I feel about the industry and about doing the work that we
not
do.
only
It's
that,
the same
it's
way.
like, for example, these days they're going to, they're going to event planning and they're going to all that as a course. It's a challenge because you don't know what's going to come.
on the job,
On the job
training.
training.
That's what it is.
And it's funny when you hear the event planning saying, oh my God, it's so I enjoy it. I love it. It's
No.
like, you really have to put everything of you in there.
Yeah.
That is not something that is fancy or
Right.
is in or is something like that. It's more than that.
Yeah.
How about how we were talking about how you have to put like your psychology hat on, right?
Oh.
Then you like
That's
All the
right,
time.
because
You have
when
the moms and the
happened
what-
the same
the-
thing to
the
Jorge.
brides.
When a mom and a bride comes to you, and they sit next to you, and the mom has
Yeah.
a view, and the bride has another view of what they want to accomplish, and they find between each other, and you're in the middle, and you have to be like a psychologist in a way.
Right.
Because honestly, if you don't do that, you don't get anything out of them.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's only a fight.
It's important to listen to the bride and,
Right.
and the
Yeah.
groom too if
Yeah.
they have something to say.
Right.
Yeah, you
No,
have
no,
to listen.
and not only listen, but to not take sides,
Right.
because then it's a problem. You
It's
know,
a problem.
You also said, though, something that we didn't realize before. I think you did deal with the bride and the mom.
Oh, I love that.
And now you deal with us.
With the groom.
Yes.
You
Sometimes
deal
these
With the
days,
wedding planners.
But the wedding
and the
planner
wedding
that
planners
comes in
and
the
the
middle.
grooms. These days, grooms are
I do
very
have a lot of
strong.
grooms.
Very vocal
I've,
grooms.
You're
I had
right.
some grooms
They're tough.
that the bride didn't care at all. Nothing
Yeah.
that happened.
I think it would be an interesting question to ask.
Okay.
Do you think that that has to do with the way that society has influenced the relationship between the man and the woman?
Oh, wow.
I don't know.
That's deep.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
Yeah.
Yes,
Well, no, I'll tell you what.
Teaches.
Maybe the boys.
Okay, exactly. That's an old school
No, but he's
answer.
an older
Which-
guy now.
Yeah, but
And
what I'm
he's-
saying is, antes or before, there were things that the woman decided, which were primarily wedding
That's right.
design
And they
stuff.
could care
design,
less.
and they could care
And they,
less.
yeah, just
right?
let me know. I'll go to the tasting.
Right.
And I'll
Right.
attend.
Because the woman, there are so many women that are
Working.
working and do you think that that's because of the
It's a
society?
mix. It's a mix of
Yes.
everything. It's
Still
not-
the lady.
When they pay for the wedding, and they are
Yes.
more
Where their
into,
money's
That's the
going
key.
to.
you know,
There you
that
go.
That's the
makes
key.
Right.
the
There you
difference.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
They
If
want to
you're
go crazy.
they want to be
paying
more
for
involved.
it, don't let me know.
Right.
But now
So-
it's my money. It's a different
Exactly.
situation.
Right. So
That's
I
right.
wanted to know where my money's going.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
that
now
makes
that you
sense.
mentioned the wedding planner, I think it'd be smart to allow the people bringing the visions.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you are presenting the ideas, which is great, but then allow us to expand on them.
You're right.
Yeah,
So,
that's
and
true.
let us sell
Well,
it
I
with
think-
their passion.
So I think
Yeah.
that a true
Yeah.
And our knowledge.
a good professional event planner should always take the
Share.
professional's opinion and advice
Always.
first and before anybody else's
Yeah,
advice.
I agree.
So
Yeah.
I mean, to me, I think I would always take my clients and my brides to
Okay,
the
great.
professional
Right.
directly. I would never speak on their behalf unless it's a corporate client that really doesn't want to deal with the
Exactly. Right,
vendors,
right.
and they say, Jessica, just deal with the vendor. In that case, then the client
But it's-
really doesn't
it's
know
one
my
thing-
vendors. But a
yeah.
bride, it's
No.
such an intimate, special moment,
is.
and it's something that I want them to experience. That I would never take away the
That is-
beauty of the planning
Exactly.
from them getting to taste the cake or
Right.
to meet their caterer and taste the food.
I think it's important
You know?
nowadays. We have a wedding coming up with a China person and a Cuban person. So I love to bring the two cultures together.
cool.
And we don't dare to cook Chinese food because his mom's going to be there.
Right.
He can cook it better. But we'll do
Right.
something
Right.
that is sort of
It's inspired.
both cultures
Asian
Right.
infusion.
put together. And
Right.
it's important to make both of them important in
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
marriage,
Of
Yeah.
course,
this unity.
absolutely.
So
But you have that experience when we take them to you.
Yes,
From
exactly.
beginning to end, and they can really understand it's not
Yeah.
picking from a menu. Okay, pick 6 appetizers, you
please.
know? So it's not, it's different. Make
You
it
know
a little
what?
bit
I
not.
tell them all the time. The day of the event is just few hours,
Yes.
but the planning takes you a lot of days.
Yeah.
So enjoy the lot of days of planning because that's what you're going to really enjoy.
Yeah.
Because the day of the event goes so fast
Like
So
and you're
fast.
so overwhelmed about everything
So
that by the time you realize it's over
yeah.
and
It
then
is.
you don't, what happened?
Yeah.
You know, then the pictures or the videos.
That's
or
all you
something.
have. It's just a
But
memory.
the plan is part of that part. It's the most
experience, yeah.
important part of that journey.
I agree.
back to
That's
the
right.
question you asked about we do it the same way, but I think we did it like this. This is happening right now.
Yeah.
This is the way we're gonna attack
Yeah,
it.
you had to
And then
adapt.
It
Yeah,
evolves.
it evolved.
It's not like we said, okay, right now this is our next step. No, it just happens.
You made the plane fly without the
Exactly.
wings.
Yeah.
Yes. So
Yeah.
Okay.
So, as a business owner in the wedding industry, what has been your greatest challenge?
I think the pricing, They call me at work.org because they claim that I give everything away. That's where my son says, hey,
Yeah.
don't give things away like this.
true.
But I think
.org.
dot
That's
org,
amazing.
yeah.
So not giving things away is your greatest challenge.
Okay,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
That is, I'm having
right.
right. No,
We're
I
gonna be
don't.
like, oh, I'll throw it in.
You know, I
I'll
always
throw
think
it
that
in.
we're charging too
Yeah.
much.
We'll throw it
Don't
in.
listen,
Yeah.
my
That-
clients, please.
Yeah.
But that's
But-
such a great
Yeah.
thing. That's really interesting.
I
you
think
know?
it's unconditional. I'm a
Yes, 'cause you
whaler.
have a big
I love
heart,
to
and
give.
I can see
That's
that
my
too.
problem.
Yeah, because you're always like, I'll throw it in.
Yeah.
All right, we'll throw it in.
I do.
I know
You
you
know,
do.
am I sitting at the tasting?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, they are undecided between 6 and they love that 7. Take the 7.
Can't decide on the set? Don't worry. You can just...
Take the 7.
This message has been approved by .org Catering.
That's
Yeah.
my gift for you. You know,
I
come
gave
on.
it to you.
Really?
Right.
I could see that, but
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Your
My
choice.
challenge was always trying to please the clients for everything that they want. That was a big challenge. Because sometimes you try to please them, but you know, either you cannot do it, it's too much for inventory, and also planning all the time that you have to set up and do everything was another challenge.
Yeah. Not saying no.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a big
that is
challenge,
a challenge.
but
It's a
that is
challenge.
something that like
But you have to plan it so much ahead of time and be careful, and everybody has to be in time. Especially for me, that I was taking linens and everything. I have to be, I have to be the first one.
Yeah.
And it was like, if not, they start calling me and all that, and I have to plan, and that was a challenge every weekend. To where to send who and what do I do first and what do I do
Right.
next. That was a very
Loading
big
the
challenge.
trucks.
That's right.
Yeah, incredible. The logistics
The
behind all of that.
logistic was really a challenge every single week
that's very interesting.
to
Yeah.
be accomplish everything.
Give credit not only to my 5 daughters, but to all my sons also.
Yeah.
That they are the ones that load the parties. They select what we're gonna serve or present at the buffets,
Yeah.
and they do a beautiful job.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
So we have to give credit to all of them. I cannot
course.
just do
Yeah, of
that.
Of
course.
course.
So
They're
very
amazing.
important.
They're
It's
all
It is.
amazing. I love them dearly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I love
Yeah,
them.
because
They're
you
all
can
of
ask
them.
any of them, and you're gonna
They
get that
help
same
you and
service, that
they're
same
great.
courtesy.
That's
They
great.
represent you,
Hey,
and
that's
and-
it. They understand our
that's a
vision,
big deal.
which
Yeah.
is great.
That's
And
a
I
big-
was lucky too with the people that work with me all the time.
También.
They were really good and they try to please all my clients, and until I get there or something like that.
And it's so important that when you hire people to work for you, they represent your brand and your
That's
style.
it.
Yes, it's very
Because
important.
like I
See?
remember going to and the women that you did have working there always were classy, elegant women that were well spoken and well mannered. It makes a difference.
Yes.
Oh,
Because
yes.
at the end of the day, that's who's representing
you, that's right.
So if they don't look like you, talk like you, treat others like you,
Yeah.
it
It's your
reflects on
brand.
your
Right.
business.
Yes,
So-
it does reflect
so
big time.
I think that
Yeah.
that's a great thing to keep in mind.
You know, a lesson that I give my employees is like, whenever you do something, go to the other side, be the guest, and whatever you don't like to be done,
Told, right.
don't do it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Serve
Know the
yourself.
rule.
Yeah.
That's
Exactly.
true.
Yeah.
Put yourself, have empathy, be on the other side,
Yes.
and
Right.
that you'll be successful.
Completely.
Exactly.
That's
Like I said,
a
every
beautiful
time I
tip.
did an
Yeah.
event, especially a wedding, it was
Yeah.
like the bride was my own daughter.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
And I will put in her shoes and I
It
treat her
is,
like my
yes.
own daughter.
Yes.
Right.
It is.
And
You do.
with so much love and understanding and everything, and so all her little things.
Yeah.
And that's what makes you different.
That's what makes you
That's
different.
beautiful.
That's what
Because
it
you
is.
really care that it's
It's
supposed to
true.
be the most
Yeah.
That's
important
right.
day of her
Yeah.
life.
Yeah, that day doesn't come back, like I said.
Well, yeah.
You want to pass them your best experience and your best
Yeah.
memories.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So we're gonna close the podcast with your worst event and your best event. You don't have to name the client, but if there's one event, one wedding that you never want to go back to ever again, what would it be, and what is the most beautiful event that the day that you do not do this anymore, you remember and say,
I
you
did
know
that.
what, I did that.
Okay. My worst event was one that I had in a hotel in Miami Beach, that I have 1,500 guests sit down
Oh my goodness.
Okay, and 350 standing, with 100 feet of table with desserts.
Oh, wow.
And that was a huge challenge that I will always remember.
What was challenging about it?
It was challenging the amount of people, their costume. They were like very traditional Orthodox Jewish.
Okay.
And I had to learn everything.
Oof.
I had to learn everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I learned their costumes. I learned everything. So I would know what they were talking about. And it was a really challenge because they were doing things differently. And they
Right.
wanted a different way
Right. Something that you weren't
that I
necessarily
was
used
not
to.
aware of that.
Right.
And it was such a big, huge wedding that seating and controlling and doing everything for 1,500 people is a lot.
Yeah.
Incredible.
It was a lot.
I had a huge crew and everything, but it still
Yeah.
was
It
a
was
lot.
a day that you don't want to go back to.
No, don't. I don't.
I wouldn't want to have to live
No.
it again either.
But I had so many beautiful ones that I cannot mention one specific.
I know we always
couldn't
end up
do it,
saying
Julie.
the
Yes.
We couldn't do
same
that.
thing.
I had so
but
many
you have
beautiful
to pick one.
I can't.
One day that you say, wow, I did that event. And it was special because everything came out the way that I wanted it to come out.
Is that I try to make it everything the way that I wanted. That's why I cannot pick. Because I always work for that perfect moment.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not one.
No,
It's
I
so
understand.
many
There
that I
are-
accomplished what I had to do.
That's
That I
why
can
I'm
tell
Leyani.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's who
you.
you are.
That's
Yeah.
right. I had so many good ones.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank
What a
you.
beautiful
Enjoy your
career.
traveling.
Yeah.
Yes, I am.
I'm looking forward to that.
I love it.
Absolutely. Now it's you, Jorge.
All right. I think, I think the worst, it's not the worst, but something that happened, it was a high-end store.
Okay, like a
It
department
was a
store.
lunch, yes.
Okay. Got
It
it.
was their 25th anniversary.
Okay.
And we had a rack of lamb, we had a sorbet, all this for lunch.
Okay.
So the omen was that when we arrived, the elevators to go to the second floor were broken. So we had to carry all the equipment through the
What a
stairs.
nightmare.
Oh my
completely.
God.
So we couldn't, initially,
No, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I prevent
Tachycardia, yeah.
the obstacle of putting everything up, it worked. Then eventually everything went on, but at the time of the survey, that had been a little bit abandoned, and it was hard as a rock. You cannot keep the. This is also a learning experience.
Yeah.
Of course.
My God, you
Completely.
don't read that in School of Hospitality.
No.
Yeah.
Don't put the ice on top, put at the bottom,
I
so
see.
you can dig in and then serve the
I
that
see.
sorbet. So,
Right.
but it took delays.
Right.
So we had to go into the main dish.
Right.
And then we did a little bit of sorbet, a little bit.
Right,
So
right.
the client complains.
Right.
That's when you feel so bad.
Of
That you
course.
couldn't, and we had done so many parties together. And I gotta say, this is like in the theater.
Yeah.
Your last performance
Oh, yes.
is the one that they'll remember.
Oh,
So
yes.
forget it. You better
Absolutely.
be good
It's true.
every time.
You're
Every
good as
single
your
time.
last
They're
thing.
le-
Yes.
I-
You're
Completely.
only
I
as good as
agree.
your last
Yes. Así que forget
Absolutely.
it.
You could do
So many.
25
mountains.
great ones.
Yes.
But you do
Crazy.
one bad
Don't
one,
mess with me. No.
Don't mess with
Don't.
me. That's right.
Anyway, so that was it.
which
And
is very sad.
it
but
is. It is a shame.
It
So
is a shame.
It would have been amazing. And
But-
the food was great. Anyway, but the best one we had. Can I mention the company?
Yeah,
Corporation,
sure.
Microsoft. They decided to celebrate something they won in the court, and then they bring in the whole company. So it was technology and marketing. So they started Sunday. Somebody did a party for Sunday. They were leaving on Wednesday, and marketing was arriving on Wednesday. So they did a party for the whole company on
Wow.
Wednesday. That's the one we did. So we had 3 on the beach,
and this was on the sand.
on the sand. So it was a setup. I spent a whole week gator trucks, getting
Wow.
trucks stuck in the sand, taking them out of this
Oh my God.
stations
Jorge.
on the 3 different themes.
That's
John
amazing.
Secada was the main draw, and it was great. Turned out
That's-
great. They wanted to pass champagne at one point. I said, no, you cannot pass champagne.
Not for 12,000
No, but we
people, like,
created a champagne bar.
Okay.
Amazing. so they could go.
Go and get your
and
champagne.
it was great.
I bet you felt very
Oh
accomplished.
my God! You know what?
You should've
This
resigned.
lady that
There.
one that hired us, she always stood by us, and she went into the pool, hoping that we did it. She said, "George, you did phenomenal."
That's
That
great.
to me was amazing.
Of course.
So,
Congrats.
and it takes organization, takes planning.
Oh my
It takes
God.
And hard work.
experience
Forget it.
and heart
Totally,
and passion.
yes.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Before-
That's-
And I want to say we have a lot more things to talk about when you have another podcast.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Bueno, thank you. This
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
more
You
than
celebrate.
an honor, and this is the greatest. Thank you for coming up with this idea, but we honor you. The standard is so high, and you continue to raise the bar.
And I hope other planners understand who came before us, because I think that's a lot of people don't have the gift that we have of knowing who really started in this industry. They know who's in the industry now,
Right.
but they don't know who were the pioneers
Yeah.
in the
Right.
wedding industry. And
Okay,
and
so-
Cheers to the
Cheers.
OGs.
Cheers to all of them.
The OGs.
Yes,
Ching,
to all-
ching.
cheers.
Yes.
Ching, ching.
Ching,
Wow,
ching.
Thank you.
Yes.
Ok, Edda. So, ¿cuál sería el evento que tú recuerdas con...
In English?
Oh, I'm so sorry. What would be the most memorable cake that you've done, and the cake or the delivery or the experience that you never want to go through again?
A few years ago, maybe like 3 or 4 years ago, and they gave us a picture, and they wanted a cake in the shape of the kid,
No.
Life size.
5 feet tall.
5 feet tall?
Yeah.
Like,
So it was a challenge by itself.
obviously, it was. That's
my
So
crazy.
we had this guy that he was working with us.
Do you have a picture of this?
I do. This guy was amazing. He was a very good artist, and we had trained him. And he said, "Well, yeah, we can do it. I'll do it." It was the same. It was fantastic.
Wow.
Incredible.
And the cake was from here down.
My
So-
goodness.
It came out amazing.
Wow.
But mistake number one,
Yeah.
we didn't measure the height
Transportation.
for the transportation, and it didn't fit our van.
Oh boy.
So he was
You
short
are.
like this. So we say, at last
Take your
minute,
shoes off.
what are we gonna do? And we had to drive.
Next time you come in a catering, we have a truck, and you could have put it there.
Yes.
Lift.
Yeah.
Next
the
time.
U-Haul.
Next time, I don't think I'm gonna do that. And
There's a next
the thing is, my daughter said, "I'm gonna rent a truck," because you get nervous because you need to
Yeah.
deliver
Of course.
to Miami Beach. So the only truck that they had, I don't know why that happened, didn't have air conditioning.
Of course.
So this guy, the one that did it, he was inside the truck
With ice.
sweating.
Oh.
And I was calling him all the time. My daughter was driving. I don't know where my son Carlos was. He wasn't in town. We were doing all this thing
How
on ourselves.
stressful.
Oh my goodness.
You cannot imagine.
Oh, I could
And
imagine.
when he came out of the car,
crazy.
when he came
is
out of the
crazy.
car, his hands. I was calling him all the time. How's the cake? No, my God, this is melting. Oh, my God. I was screaming in front of the car, and when he came out, his hands were full of chocolate.
Oh, wow.
So
Melting.
it took us before the party started, like 3 hours to fix it, to fix the cake.
That's
But it came out amazing.
that's awesome.
It came out
That's
Wow.
so good.
That's
but
great.
we
That's like your
sweated.
pin, your piece
know,
together.
God.
Like, like bad and good together.
Yeah, you mixed them
When
together.
when we were
Yeah.
coming back,
I was so
Right.
scared.
my daughter was driving, and we were like this.
The event industry is
It was like the
equivalent.
most stressful profession you can choose.
So I mean, I can understand.
And we were
the-
so proud because they came out
anxiety.
so amazing when we were
The finish
Because
product.
that's
to the
that's what
finished
this
product.
industry does.
I'm
to
gonna
you.
show you the picture.
It takes you like this,
And up.
up and
And
down,
Cycles.
up and down,
Oh, no,
and then
definitely.
yeah, it's like the
It's
levels,
nerve-wracking.
the
Yeah.
Cortisol. Now we know
it
that
goes
word.
up. Yeah,
Yeah.
because it takes you. You're under so much stress
Yes.
up until that day comes, and
Right.
once the event is over, then it gives you that high
Yes.
of I did it.
The
It came out
accomplishment.
perfect. It came out beautiful.
Yeah,
the
I know
client's
that.
happy, but it was rough
Yeah.
to get
Yeah.
there. So
And you had to be-
and I think that's why you do it again and you
Yeah.
do it again because
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
you
It's an
you like
addiction.
that,
Right.
you know, you like
Exactly.
that thrill
Yeah.
Yeah.
of going through those
Yeah.
emotions.
For sure.
But I can see how that would have been very stressful.
So what was your best? Because that
Well,
sounds
we've had
crazy.
Me,
Many
that sounds
best,
great.
yeah, many good times, many good cakes that came out beautiful. We have pictures of them. But come to mind, well, the one I told you about Gucci Mane.
When you go to like Publix or stores, doesn't that make you feel
I
proud?
know.
I feel very
that's so
proud,
incredible.
and I bless them,
Aw.
and I thank God always.
Like,
For
does it
giving me the
make you?
talent.
Does it make you remember like
where
when you started?
Of course, everything reminds me when I started.
Uh-huh.
You should have seen me. I'm shy, not now, but I was very shy. And
That's
believe it or
awesome.
not.
Yeah.
And I remember I had to do demonstrations. And the first demonstration, I goofed.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
great. Yeah, but
I
you had
goofed.
a.
Yeah.
I mean, she met the guy that worked for
Wilton
Wilton.
Manor.
I mean, so
I goofed in a
Incredible.
way that the cake
Well-
broke. I had to fix it. And
Right
it was
there.
good at the
Okay.
end because people said, I didn't know you could cover the cake
Right.
so beautiful and it's that it broke.
Yeah, because
So it was,
It was
that
a
was
good
a
thing.
learning lesson.
yeah.
It was planned.
and you know
tell
what's really cool too, that like I've never seen her in social media. Like there's people like you, like the three people that we interviewed
Yeah.
today, like they're individuals that they didn't have to do social media so
Yeah.
that people would know them.
Right.
They're known because of the quality of their work
Literally,
and their product.
Your name. Your
It's
name is
Called
everything.
word of mouth.
Yeah,
That's
it's
the
called
thing.
word of mouth,
Yeah.
which is amazing,
Yeah.
and that's so important in in this industry because at the end of the day, so it's such a gift to be able to have
incredible.
this and
Incredible.
It
so
is.
that people can
Yeah.
know exactly what it takes to get to that level because it's
and
a
they're
lot of
still
work.
at it too.
Yes,
Yes.
they're still at it, but
Forever.
but it's a
gonna
lot.
Retire
No,
sooner,
that's
but
in you. You
Yeah.
don't retire.
You
from
can't.
No,
that.
I
No,
don't.
you
I
can't.
cannot.
you
You
can't.
can't.
You love it.
I
because
still look at cakes and,
of
and
course
new ideas because everything changes through the time.
Yeah.
Right.
of course.
The trend is different now.
Right. Do
That's
you stop
amazing.
by the stores?
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
of
I think the
course.
brides want to do something very different from what the friend did. So that's a little bit of a competition, you want to call
Yeah,
it, or
yeah.
they want to best.
Right.
Go
Keeping up
step
with the
above.
Joneses.
Yeah.
It's a challenge.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
which we welcome.
So you
So-
always have to stay
be ready
two
for that.
steps ahead.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
On top of the ball.
How do you look better than Jane Fonda? No, for
What
real.
do you
I've been
mean?
watching you and looking at you and admiring you. I mean, your
She's
beauty, your
amazing.
elegance is
Ah,
the aritos, everything is
Yeah.
just so
I've been
so
having this for all
classic.
my
I
life.
know.
Because she's an elegant woman.
No,
Oh,
but
come
you're
on.
you are no, you really are. It's
But-
so regal.
Yeah. Thank you, Eda, de verdad. Thank
And a
you,
great
Jorge.
person.
Yeah.
Aw,
Beautiful
both
heart.
of
We
you.
have been
Friends
together for a
forever.
long
Yes.
time.
You're beautiful.
To
God
be able
bless
It is.
you.
But you know what?
Yes.
I didn't. A lot of stuff we have to do, and stress, definitely,
Yeah.
because many things happen
It is what it is.
throughout all these years, good and bad.
Of course.
But it was very rewarding
Yeah.
Of course.
to do something that you really like.
Yeah.
Of course.
Absolutely.
But what a beautiful accomplishment.
Yeah.
What a great afternoon.
was
Thank
fun.
you so
Thank
much.
you.
Well,
Thank
thank
you
you for
guys
having
so
us.
Bottom
much
of our
for,
hearts. This
for
is-
I was
sharing
so
very amazed
knowledgeable.
about this. I never done anything like this.
No, you're a star.
But
You need to come back. You are. You're
guys
great.
were great.
well, that's
You
why
are
I convinced her
really
to come
now.
over.
No,
Yeah.
you guys were great.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Okay.
much for,
Thank
you
for,
all
for
came
doing
in.
this because it means a lot to our industry. It's
They asked
not-
for that.
You know, that's the key.
Yeah.
When you do things with a passion,
Yes.
Yeah.
It's what sets you apart.
Yeah.
you reconnect with God all the time.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And He gives you the know-how.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know how it comes, but
It's just
It's
beautiful.
hard. It's hard. It's passion.
Yeah.
you have,
So, and that's what makes you different.
yeah.
So-
Yes.
But thank you.
You
Thank you
be
for
thank
being
blessed.
here.
Amazing.
Okay.
Yay. At one point, you took away my cards.
Yeah.
Picking from a menu. Okay, pick 6 appetizers, you
please.
know? So it's not, it's different.
They could edit that.